Social media is on trial. Engagement architecture is being examined, and time on platform is being questioned. But here's the uncomfortable question nobody's asking loudly yet. If optimizing for compulsive engagement becomes a legal liability, is gaming next? Because if courts start scrutinizing psychological design and social feeds, they won't be able to ignore psychological design in immersive worlds. This isn't anti-gaming, it's pattern recognition. This is the prescription. Let's start the show. Yes, we are back, man. We have first of all, before I get into this, man, I just want to say shout out to everybody out there that enjoyed my content. Shout out to everybody out there that's giving me some love, showing me some love, like, share a couple ducats, a little piece of your tax money you work hard for. Thank you for, helping me out with this platform and helping it grow. All of it counts. I'm a nigga who still got pennies and nickels and dimes off in a little corner with everything else over there. You understand me? So everything counts. And I appreciate people who appreciate content. The type of content that I create. I appreciate it. Keep it coming. Keep sharing me out. Keep fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? Keep sending me to your mama and your daddies and your sisters and your cousins and your aunties, especially to the aunties. Like, send me to the aunties and grandmamas. You know what I'm talking about? Tell them that a handsome black bald man is out here popping shit. He stuttered a little bit, but he talking that shit a little bit. You just give him a chance, listen to him, show him how I look, show him that I'm handsome, show him a picture of him, like, oh yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Don't be scared to put me on your auntie. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be scared to put me on your granny. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get to the business. For the past few weeks, I've been going over this social media on trial case about the engagement design and the architecture of how these platforms, basically how they are designed and what are they designed for and how that affects the youth mind and things of that nature. It's been a back and forth between families who've lost young children due to social media pressures and harm. And the big deal is the courts applying pressure to these social media platforms about, did you guys see a foreseeable risk in your platform with these babies? You understand what I'm saying? Did you guys see a foreseeable risk and didn't do shit about it? That's the argument. That's what's going on right now. Since I've moved off the Moseri and Zuckerberg, they testified and say what they had to say about it and all that shit. I moved on to scenarios that can definitely happen. Now with me being a gamer, I I started to ponder about like, man, this shit could have an effect on gaming too, because a lot of these things that they're talking about directly goes with gaming, as far as the engagement, as far as the time on, as far as the the microtransactions, the money, all that shit, and we'll get into it, right? Like I said, I'll just decide to crack the surface on what potentially could be, right? And then, mind you, we're talking about the babies too, so that's why I got this guy right here on the thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get into him in a few, but because Roblox Roblox has probably the most youth activity out of any gaming platform shit known to man. You feel what I'm saying? Um his name is David Bazuki. Bazuki, Bazuki, whatever his name is, David Bazuki, right? And my children play Roblox. Y'all children play Roblox. He, y'all kids be on the blocks. You understand me? You don't have to goddamn shuck some duckies for some Robux. You understand me? And Robux is on economy, and I'll get to that shit later on as well. But these modern gaming platforms are engineered systems. The daily login, progression bars, XP loops, scarcity timers, cosmetic upgrades tied to status, and embedded microtransactions. Now, these are reinforcement mechanics, behavioral psychology translated into code. Now, once you add scale to it, the platforms like a Roblox report tens of millions of daily active users, a significant portion under the age of 16. The global gaming, the industry, big, big, big money, big trillions, and big trillions, big zeros of millions of dollars. You understand me? Generates more than film and music combined. So I want you to stop and think about how much money film and music makes. Like, go look it up somewhere, and then once you put gaming in there, you'll figure out that this shit is in a whole different ballpark. So we're talking about feeding generations upon generations upon generations. Roblox is publicly traded. Now, a lot of these companies, these gaming companies are, but we ain't talking about them. I'm talking about Roblox is publicly traded. You understand? And that's where this kind of gets sticky for me personally. Pause. Right? When millions of miners use a system daily, harm isn't hypothetical. And the other layer of that, like I just said, was Roblox Corporation is publicly traded. So these public companies answer to shareholders, and these legal and they are legally obligated. That's the word I'm trying to look for. I'm looking for a goddamn word. You understand me? Legally obligated to pursue growth and profitability, all within the law. And when engagement drives revenue and revenue drives valuation, and retention isn't just design preference, it becomes an economic pressure. That doesn't imply wrongdoing, but it means that incentives matter. Engagement itself is not necessarily evil. Skill and mastery and creativity and community, all those are very much real life things in the gaming world, right? The question isn't whether games engage, it's whether systems are designed for growth or engineered for compulsion. The legal pressure around social media is centered around minors, right? And that changes everything, because when a product is heavily used by children, the duty of care increases. Now look at Roblox, Fortnite of the world, Minecraft of the world, right? Massive youth populations, persistent progression systems, and in-game spending. If optimization, no, if optimizing retention, sorry, in minors becomes legally sensitive in social media, gaming platforms into the same conversation. Not because games are inherently harmful, but simply because children raise the legal threshold, right? So user generated platforms like a Roblox have faced documented moderation challenges over time, including adults attempting inappropriate contact with minors, excuse me, user created extremist themed spaces, recreations of real world tragedies, hate imagery, and player built environments. All these are facts and are publicly reported. But that doesn't equal endorsement, but it does reflect scale, youth, and imperfect moderation. Now, once you add the monetization, you understand that Roblox isn't just play, it's an economy. It's its own economy, the virtual currency, cosmetic purchases, the scarcity driven upgrades, creator payouts as well. The creator payouts. That's a whole nother, that's a whole nother, that's a whole another goddamn layer to the goddamn bean dip. You understand me? But when engagement and monetization intersect inside youth heavy environments, scrutiny increases quickly, and as it should. When the legal question becomes were safeguards and friction mechanisms proportionate to foreseeable risk? Say it again. The legal question becomes were safeguards and friction mechanisms proportionate to foreseeable risk? That's not a content debate. That's a systems design debate. Again, those two big ass words with multiple letters in them. I told y'all engagement architecture. Show me some love on that for a nigga that stuff. I did great on that. But anyway, um, the creator ripple, the creator ripple effect inside the gaming, right? Because Roblox doesn't just host players; it hosts developers. Young creators build experiences. Engagement drives visibility. Visibility drives the income. And if engagement mechanics become legally sensitive and systems recalibrate, it doesn't just affect the players, it affects the creator developers inside the ecosystem. The design changes um, have ripple effect through, um, how can I say this? Design changes ripple through economic layers, if that makes any sense, right? Just like social media creators, they live downstream from architecture decisions. Remember last show I was telling you about because of how these people have designed their platforms, once the incentives, once they start telling you this is what you need on our platform to get monetized, to make money, everything goes that flows downstream from there, right? So, and it's weird, as a person who's been monetized and demonetized on different platforms, it's weird because it's to a certain extent, you seem like you're doing the same shit. You know what I'm saying? If you look at any one of my platforms, I don't do anything that's that's wild. You know what I'm saying? Not wild than what I see. You know what I'm saying? But some of that shit I be posting, I don't really fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Now I can get on the explore page on Instagram and see a bitch getting butt booty naked. You know what I'm talking about? Butt booty naked on there, and that bitch is getting the dough. You know what I'm talking about? She getting paid, verified pages, monetized here and there. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who's pressing these buttons, and most likely it's not a human who's pressing these buttons. It's whatever they design inside. Because if you think you talking to a human being when you send your appeals in when they block your post or when they stop your shit. You know, you're not talking to a human being. You're talking to a fucking system. You know what I'm saying? You can't get on the phone and say, hey, y'all flag my video down for some bullshit and I want to appeal it. You're going to talk to a fucking system. And however they program that system is how they decide, hey, you want to get paid for this or you're not getting paid for this. Or this is why you're not getting paid for this. Or, you know, however the fuck or whatever the fuck they do with that shit. I don't know. I don't really fuck with them like that. But anyway, but if engagement mechanics become legally sensitive and systems recalibrate, it doesn't affect it. It doesn't just affect the players; it affects the creator developers inside the ecosystem. Design changes ripple through of economic layers. Just like social media creators, they live downstream from engagement architecture. That's the word of the day. Engagement architecture. Now, if gaming platforms faced expanded scrutiny over engagement and use safeguards, then some of the things you might see are stronger time use friction, more aggressive parental oversight tools, transparency around progression mechanics, reduce reliance on scarcity, pressure, increased investment in live moderation. Mind you, a bunch of systems are behind a system that's running the system. A lot of this shit is on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many, like, especially nowadays, they firing people, they're firing whole floors of human beings because we don't need you motherfuckers. Like, all this shit is jet speed now. We're gonna pay you to sit in front of a computer and watch shit when we can just put that shit off in the system and they can just do whatever, you know. You feel what I'm saying? So these public companies don't these, these public companies don't abandon growth up under risk. Um, they simply redefine how growth is measured. And once growth metrics shift, the architecture also shifts. Not because the gaming world is going to collapse or any of these big billion-dollar, million-dollar industries are going to collapse. It's just never going to collapse, but it simply reshapes the incentives, and the incentives reshape the systems. Now, the, these industries don't change because they're shamed. They change because the liability increases. A couple shows ago, I gave an example of the Ford Pinto was blowing up like a fucking bomb. That didn't hurt Ford. They simply just changed where they put the gas tank at. Big tobacco. That didn't hurt the tobacco industry. They simply just changed the marketing of, you know, whatever the fuck they did, right? Big pharma. They didn't hurt big pharma. They simply just changed whatever they had to change to be, you know, to get right. You know what I'm saying? Side note, motherfucking Frito Lay. And you might be like, where this shit going? Just follow me here. You already know, like, I'm good for one tangent per show, right? Frito motherfucking Lay. Everybody in the world love Doritos, right? One talking with my babies, go pick up some socks and drawers. You know what I'm saying? We, you know, socks and drawers, essentials that we all need. We just trying to make sure we got it. We out running errands on a Saturday. We walk by, as soon as you walk into the Target, they had the naked Doritos and the naked Cheetos. Now, if you don't know what the naked Doritos and the naked Cheetos are, it's the naked, it's simply the Doritos and the Cheetos without the artificial dyes, without that red 40 on it. You know what I'm saying? These ain't got the red 40 on that motherfucker. They ain't got the color of a Dorito or a normal Cheeto that we grew up loving and snacking and possibly getting cancer from. Right? So I grab a bag of these naked Doritos. I'm like, man, I gotta try these naked Doritos. When I tell you that the Doritos taste the motherfucking same, and as I'm snacking on these Doritos later on that night, I instantly get mad. I got frustrated because it's like, oh, y'all niggas could have been done this. The red 40 has no effect on the flavor. It's just the dye on it. Now, some of y'all be like, duh, but don't duh me. I'm just using this for an example. You feel what I'm saying? But the fact is, the point is, they could have been doing it. They could have done this the whole time before they even dropped a Dorito chip ever in history, or Ruffles, or whatever goes with it, right? But they didn't change because they wanted to, or simply because they only changed because of the liability increase. They don't want nobody saying, hey, this red 40 made me grow an extra ear out my ass. This red 40 made my kneecap disintegrate. This red 40 made my fingers turn in to feet, or whatever the fuck you think about. It made my lip split in two, and I turned into some predator looking ass shit. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever it was, it's simple. But the fucked up thing is this: they still sell the they still selling the Doritos with the red 40. So now it's like, well, we're gonna still sell the fucked up chips in case somebody still want the fucked up chips. But in case you want these other chips, we got these naked chips with no dyes on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about it tastes the same. I'm talking about it tastes the same. The shit blew my motherfucking mind. My brain didn't know how to react. I was killing them motherfucking chips. And I probably shouldn't have ate that many chips. But I was like, God damn, boy, this shit tastes a lot like Doritos because they are Doritos. The shit ain't just red. And they found the way how to market that shit. My point is all these industries, they only change because the liability increases. That's my only reason I'm telling you about the goddamn me Frito-Lay Doritos, the butt naked the Doritos and Cheetos, whatever they call them, without no artificial dyes on them. They taste exactly the same. But they only did that shit because the liability increased, right? So back to the content. After auto defect litigation, safety standards hardened, right? After shit started blowing up, cars started blowing up and shit, the safety standards for cars changed. After tobacco settlements, youth marketing narrowed, after all the big opioid lawsuits, all the pharmaceutical guardrails tightened. Now, if engagement designs becomes legally sensitive in social media, excuse me, gaming platforms built on similar reinforcement systems won't be immune from future scrutiny. This is the first domino. This domino might fall. You feel what I'm saying? This domino might fall. And if it don't fall, it'll show be moving back and forth. It'll show be, waving back and forth. This is a big fucking deal. Bigger than a lot of the shit that's going on right now, in my opinion. You understand me? Because like I said before, like I just said, if engagement design becomes legally sensitive in social media, gaming platforms built on similar reinforcement systems won't be immune from future scrutiny. The money's gonna be on the flow if this domino fall with social media. You feel what I'm saying? Gaming, there's a couple other industries that I have on the list as well. But gaming would be next in my scenario, right? When attention becomes legally examinable, any system built to capture and extend attention becomes relevant. That could mean everything for media, not just social media, but media in general. You know what I'm saying? And it's good. It it has its pros and cons, but um, you should know my side of it. If it ain't anyway, I won't get into that. Let's stay here because we in a good time frame, right? So if social feeds are architecture, right? Um, Again, we're talking about our favorite word of the day: engagement, architecture. So if social feeds are architecture, games are engineered worlds, and engineered worlds can be examined, right? Gaming itself isn't going anywhere. It's creative, it's competitive, it's communal, and it's lucrative. But if it's also behavioral design at scale, when youth, monetization, and reinforcement loops intersect inside publicly traded systems, courts eventually ask the hard questions. Social media may be first, but gaming may not be too far behind. And the next era of design may not be defined by how long a system keeps you, but by how responsibly it lets you lead. You understand what I'm saying? The next era of design may not be defined by how long a system keeps you, but by how responsibly it lets you lead. I want y'all to soak on that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I really need y'all just to ponder about the things that I've said. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up and we'll talk about it offline. You know what I'm saying? I'm very available. Matter of fact, we'll talk about it not offline. Let's talk about this conversation off of these feedback loops. Like, let's really get it. Come holler at me on the YouTube tip. Come give me the feedback, man. Y'all give all that feedback to these silly bitches, funky bitches fighting on Zeus and network and be out and comment like, God damn, yeah. Come holler at me about this, right? Because I don't want people to get distracted with all the other shit that's going on right now. You understand what I'm saying? Um, Huge implications might come from this social media trial. Like, the algorithm is on trial. This is very much a landmark case. You feel what I'm saying? What was the other word for it? They had another word for it, but I can't think of it now. Right? But this is a big fucking deal. This is the big domino, and the big domino falls. You understand what I'm saying? If the big domino falls, then we are going to see somewhat of a shift. I mean, only if you pay attention to it, right? For most people, well, I put it like this: for the people who don't pay attention, they probably don't listen to this type of shit in any motherfucking way. So we just gotta let them be. But for the ones who got working minds and great brains and great thinkers, and make a they make sure that thinking stays alive. Like, in my opinion, like, thinking is still currency in my book. You know what I'm saying? It's not about being the smartest. It's not about being, knowing the most. It's about how much are you willing to learn. You understand what I'm saying? And what this whole thing has taught me is how much, like, I had to learn about all this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a very political person. I'm not the one that talks about court cases and shit, but because this is in my realm, this is also Trill Pill Digital. This is in my realm of the conversations that I have about the internet and how it affects our minds and what it's doing, and certain things I can draw parallels to from the past to now. It kind of laid in my lap. You know what I'm saying? So, therefore, that's why I'm here. I don't see any platforms talking about it. So, like they always say, if you want to see the change, be the change. You understand me? And that's what I'm here to do. That's why I appreciate everybody that's stopped through, gave me a shout out, showed me some love. You know what I'm talking about? I appreciate it because you ain't got to do this, because these hours that I spend here doing this and the hours that you spend listening to me do this, you won't get them back. So that's what makes me make sure that I give you content that you can use, something you can take from it. You know what I'm saying? Something you can learn from it, or even just look into and research. You know what I'm saying? We thinkers here. And that's why I'm always say this shit is dedicated to all the hustlers and the scholars and the doers of the world, because you got to be a thinker to be a hustler. You have to be a thinker to be a scholar. And you damn sure have to be a thinker to be a doer in this world. You understand what I'm saying? to be able to have some type of success or be able to sustain yourself in this society, as niggas call it, the society doing it, whatever this society is doing, you gotta be a thinker. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be a thinker. And so, shout out to everybody out there, man. Much love to y'all. And next episode, I haven't decided I'm gonna stay in the same direction with it, but I just might. I do have different avenues and ways of scenarios where this might go the same way as this one. But I just wanted to explore the gaming possibility because I love gaming. You know what I'm saying? I'm a gamer. I got 3 children. All of them are gamers. You know, a lot of my friends are gamers. A lot of their kids are gamers as well. So this is going to affect us, you know what I'm saying, down the road. Like the rest of this shit that they're claiming don't really, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this shit ain't important. You know what I'm saying? But this type of shit is because it deals with what the shit on these screens. What the fuck is it doing to our minds, to our babies' minds, to our babies' young, impressionable minds? That's what it's about here. That's what it's about with this meta shit. Not even just meta, but with this social media shit. I really wish there was a way that these courts could drag TikTok and Snapchat, drag they bitch ass in court and had them talk and had them defend themselves over their platform. They settled out of court like some hoes. You know what I'm saying? Great business decision, but morally, that just means, hey, hey man, we don't want the smoke. We ducking the fade. You feel what I'm saying? And they ducked the fade, but I really want to see what their responses would be. Also, another motherfucker who ducked the fade, and they just made him, hey, we don't need to see Neil Mohan, the YouTube CEO. Yeah, they got him out the way. They said, hey, we don't need him or whatever. And I wonder why. Like I said, all this shit, I just wonder why. Trill Pill Digital, this platform is made for the niggas who wonder why and or why not. And what if and how. You know what I'm saying? Who would win, where, and how? Like we do that shit in school on 5 fingers. Who would win, where, and how? We still trying to figure out the who, what, when, where's, and how, and explore possible scenarios from all this shit. That's what we're supposed to be here doing in the first fucking place. You know what I'm saying? The entertainment is cool. Everybody's not an entertainer. I'm not an entertainer. You know what I'm saying? My specialty is having conversations just like this, breaking shit down. That's how God has allowed my brain to work my whole fucking life. Is I've just been able to have conversations about anything to everybody, and important conversation, and bring something to the conversation as well. You feel what I'm saying? Bring new angles, new scenarios, new, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's ready for that. And that's why I had to start talking to a lot of people because niggas, the conversation was going too far for them. You know what I'm saying? They don't even want to go to that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, well, I keep these thoughts to myself. You know what I'm saying? But that's what this is for. For the people who love to think, who love to explore with their mind, people who do the research and just love to learn. Like I said, this ain't about being the smartest. You know what I'm saying? This ain't about who does anything the best. This is about willing to learn and willing to find out and willing to explore. Like not letting the art of asking a question die. Not letting the art of asking who, what, when, and where die. Don't let these motherfuckers tell you, oh, you can't be asking that. Why can't I ask that? Nigga, I got a fucking question. You know, they just want to give you the shit, and you say, okay, they just gave it to me. It's, no. Fuck no. We gotta know why they doing this shit, who doing this shit, what they doing this shit for, and explore the possibilities of the effects of what they're motherfucking doing. You know? That what this shit is for me, man. So like I said before, man, shout out to everybody out there. I love y'all. Y'all know my slogan, man. Mind your mental to be monumental. Stay true to healing. Most of all, stay mentally true. Don't be a leech. Be a leader. You understand me? Everything at the bottom. If you want to support this platform, I'm everywhere. If you find me, I'm gonna shoot a flare up. Look in the sky. The blood moon just happened this morning. I was outside in my window looking at the blood moon. I was up before the blood moon. I seen it. It was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Burn some sage and shit. You know what I'm talking about? But just be careful out there, y'all. You know, there's a lot of shit going on, man. And also, I want to send a special prayer out to the armed forces, military. You know, this ain't nothing to play with. People already they losing their lives, and from what I've heard, nobody gives a fuck if they lose their lives or not. And these are people's fathers and brothers and sisters and mothers and cousins and aunties. Like these people, these are real life people that the people who are sending them over to run that dummy mission, they can't even fight. You know what I'm saying? The people who send these men and women all overseas doing shit for they don't even know what the fuck they doing or what the fuck they over there for. They just know that they out there fighting. People who pushing the buttons, they ain't never fought there in their fucking life. They just want some shit, and they know they got a strong want some shit to get their point across. So they slide. You know what I'm saying? And it's fucked up that Americans have to lose families and lives over people's greed. You know? So prayers out to them. Shout out to all the vets out there, man. Shout out to everybody. And shit, shout out to you for listening. I'm gone, man. Come holler at me. Come get on the game, fuck nigga. Chill pill, GMG on Xbox. Fuck with me, man. I'm everywhere. Just anyway, shut up. I'm out. Pew, pew, pew.